Uh, Let me take forward the proceedings. I would like to introduce Mr. Rahul, the Director of Indogreen Enviro Private Limited. Mr. Rahul is a visionary leader and the Dynamic Director of Indogreen Private Limited with an impressive 30 years of industry experience, including over 11 years of dedicated service at Indogreen. He embodies passion and wisdom in the realm of recycling and sustainability. Let's welcome Rahul on stage. Please, Rahul. The stage is all yours, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. We welcome you to the session on tire recycling. And can we have the opening session videos on, please? And now to open this session, can I invite Shri Amit Verma ji, Director Niti Aayog, on the stage, please. Please give him a big round of applause. Can I also invite Shri Amit Raj ji, Director MOEF-CC, on the stage, please. Please, sir. Now, can I also invite Shri Dr. P. Krishnaiya ji on the stage, please, from Chairman APPCB, Andhra Pradesh. And I would also like to invite Shri VP Yadav ji, Director CPCB. Please, on the stage, please. And I believe Mr. Shri Anand Kumar ji, Director and Divisional Head, Waste Management, is a CPCB. He's going to be joining us on the Zoom call. Yes, after the session. And I think we should all give all these dignitaries a big round of applause. They've taken out time to be here. And now, moving forward, I would like to invite Shri Amit Verma ji, Director Niti Aayog, for the opening speech.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Considering the time we've already lost, and I suppose there are people who have flights booked for the evening, I'll keep it very, very short. I'm assuming that you already are aware of what Niti Aayog does and what our role is. The only important message I want to convey at this point of time is that recycling or circular economy is a very important aspect which is being dealt with by Government of India at the highest level. MOEFCC has a very important role to play, and they have been playing that role in the form of new regulations, which I told in the morning also are best to none in the world. They've created a market-based mechanism where a lot of support can be given through financial systems which are self-containing, for which we don't need government support all the time, which will fund the recyclers of the future in terms of material recyclability. So all these mechanisms, when they start coming into the fore and getting implemented, there are always challenges. There is a new system which comes into place, and I was just having discussion with Amit, and we were discussing about the change management which this causes, which is always a challenge. Whenever we are transitioning because of our sustainability needs or climate change needs or for material efficiency needs, there is always be some industries which may have to feel a bit of a pain because of the new processes, because of the new systems which will come into place. So it's important for organizations like Niti Aayog and ministries to give a forward-looking aspect to the industry itself, on what we are thinking, not only in the short term in terms of immediate regulations, but also what is the vision for next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. What is the vision for Viksit Bharat 2047, which the chief guest in the morning also spoke about. So when we bring all these things together in regulation, I think that's where the value of discussions of this kind lie. As I've already said multiple times, the execution is the responsibility mainly of the states. And their onboarding for each of the policy changes which is coming from the government of India is very, very important. We need to be very cognizant of the fact that it's a different matter to make policies and imagining them getting executed and to get them executed in the ground in the first place. I myself being a officer of IFS who has worked at the ground level, I always have felt there are multiple challenges when you execute things in ground. So it's important to reach out to the states, and as part of the state support mission, this workshop is being organized with both industry players, OEMs, recyclers, and also the state boards, the pollution boards, and the other important officers of the state who can appraise us of the challenges which are being faced by the states in implementation of policies, how the industries can be helped, what kind of enabling environment we can help create, what kind of financial mechanisms which can be created to help those industries. With that, I'll end my address here with the hope that we'll have a vibrant discussion in the couple of sessions to follow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amit Verma ji. I think he deserves a big round of applause. Thank you. Next, I would like Shri Amit Raj ji to come and give the keynote address for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me opportunity to speak on such an important forum. First of all, I would like to thank Niti Aayog and MRAI to organize such event, as this kind of subject has a lot of importance today. We are talking about sustainable development in different spheres. But sustainable development can be achieved not just by statements or rhetorics. We have to act. We have to devise policies. We have to devise rules. We have to think about what lies ahead in future. So, circular economy is the means where we can have a sustainable future. National Workshop on Circular Economy, I thank Niti Aayog and MRAI for organizing this workshop. We live in an era where there is a rapid technological advancement. We are consumers and we are using up resources, and now we have the responsibility of using up the resources, the natural resources, in a manner where we are not just taking things from the environment, but also giving back to the environment in the way possible. India, as a rapidly developing nation, is experiencing rapid economic growth, but this growth comes up with challenges. Challenges which are in the nature of technological challenges, which are in the nature of increased waste generation. Our Honorable Prime Minister in August 2021 highlighted India's action on Mission Circular Economy. The announcement calls for Mission Circular Economy to be taken forward in full earnest. To take forward the announcement of Honorable Prime Minister, Circular Economy action plans have been formulated in different waste streams. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has started working on these waste streams in association with Niti Aayog, who have devised these action plans. And we believe that the traditional linear economy model is no more functional. We have to, for the well-being of our own citizens, for the country, we have to adopt the circular economy approach. The waste management rules and its subsequent amendments have been instrumental in establishing a regulatory framework for responsible waste management in the country. The EPR framework, which you all are aware of, means that manufacturers of goods are no longer solely responsible for the production and the sale. They now bear the responsibility for managing their products at the end of their life cycle. The essence of EPR is that producers are obligated to collect back their discarded products and either recycle them or ensure their safe disposal. This involves setting up of collection centers, creating buyback programs, and establishing efficient recycling infrastructure. When we talk of recycling, one thing which strikes immediately is about the informal sector which is involved in this activity, because they are the persons who are collecting waste from the areas where the formal sector is not able to reach. We must ensure a fair and dignified livelihood for these essential workers. And we need to formalize these informal sector workers so that they have a justified and equitable share in this circular economy approach. Circular economy is not just an environmental strategy, it is an economic opportunity. By developing robust recycling industries, we create new jobs, foster innovation, and reduce our dependence on imported raw materials. Also, it has environmental benefit because the more we recycle, the more we follow the circular economy approaches, the more we implement the circular economy action plans, the less is the dependence on the natural resources, the resources which are precious in this environment. I'll come to the EPR again. It is not just about compliance, it's about fostering a mindset of responsibility across the value chain. It encourages business to innovate and move away from the culture of planned obsolescence towards one of responsible design and resource stewardship. Government of India notified EPR framework for the various categories of waste, including waste tires, e-waste, batteries, used oil, plastic packaging, and end-of-life vehicles. I take this opportunity to inform you that for waste tires, we have now 200 producers and around 500 recyclers registered on the EPR portal, which is generating about 65 lakh tons of EPR certificates. And this is growing day by day. Till January 25, more than 46,000 PIBOs and 2,600 PWPs have registered on the EPR portal for plastic packaging, generating about 110 lakh tons of EPR certificates. Revenue earned by the registered recyclers from sale of EPR certificates is revenue earned over and above the revenue generated from the sale of recycled product. Revenue generation of more than 1,200 crore rupees is an estimated amount through exchange of EPR certificates between the recyclers and the producers. While challenges remain, India's recycling industry has made significant strides in the recent years. we have witnessed a rise in authorized recycling facilities equipped with modern technology capable of processing waste and end-of-life vehicles and tires. Many organizations, large and small, are actively participating in EPR programs, setting up collection networks and establishing partnerships to build a strong recycling ecosystem. India, by virtue of having a large population, has a very large informal recycling sector, and it is paramount to formalize this sector and provide them safe and scientific technique to improve their livelihood and reduce damage to the environment. The government, the private sector, the recycling community, and every single citizen have an essential role in this transformation. By embracing responsible consumption, promoting recycling, and supporting the initiatives and regulations aimed at addressing waste, we can create a cleaner, healthier, and a more prosperous India. Let us work together to build a nation that values resources, minimizes waste, and champions the principles of circularity. I stop here and thank you once again to Niti Aayog and MRAI for organizing this workshop, and I look forward to views and suggestions from all of you to how we can improve upon the circular economy action plan. I stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shri Amit Rajji. And I think we should give him a big round of applause once again for his address. And now I call upon Shri Dr. P. Krishnaya ji, Chairman APPCB, Andhra Pradesh, to give the special address.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My co-panelists and the dignitaries on the dais, eminent personalities from the industry, institutions, research organizations, and the academia. I thank the organizers for having thought of me to be here to say a few words on this subject of the last. I think this seminar is on the end of the cycle for the tires, yeah. Good that a lot of integration is happening. I find several of the ministries involved in this 3 days activity. That itself shows that Government of India, in association with the industry, is taking up circular economy with a lot of seriousness. It's a good beginning that institutions like Niti Aayog, Central Pollution Control Board, and the MRAI are associated in conducting these activities. Coming back to the topic of the day, in fact, I am not very much familiar with the concepts of circular economy until I recently came to know in one of the conferences wherein the Honorable Prime Minister has taken up circular economy as one of the special focus areas in the Conference of Chief Secretaries, which was held sometime in the month of October or November. That shows that the Government of India is serious on and very keen on ensuring whatever has been thought of is implemented at the ground level. Well, friends, as all of us know, environment is nobody's baby. Everybody uses the resources, but not many will be serious enough to think and act to minimize the levels of pollution and consider ways and means of supporting the activities which help in environmental protection as individuals, as citizens. I was so happy that recently when I visited Indore, we are all proud of that city, It has been ranked as the cleanest city in India for the last 6 years or so in succession. Every year it was getting that kind of recognition. I could feel the sense of civic responsibility in that city, the kind of pride they show in ensuring that their city is clean. It starts from the households to the contractors, to the workers, to everyone in that city. They own that kind of responsibility and ensure that their city is very clean. So it should start from home. It should start from person. Why should we pollute and then later on think of remediating the environmental pollution? So it should start. That's where awareness is very, very critical. Right from our school days, college days, the concept of conservation and protecting environment must begin. There's, of course, theoretical part. Coming to the real point of circular economy, earlier we were talking of 3 Rs, somebody said 4 Rs, and R is being extended. But now we have come to a loop. It's no longer linear, it is circular. That means nothing should go back to the system. We should not extract anything than what has been already extracted. So within the available resources we have to manage. There is nothing like called a waste. In fact, I would call it a raw material for another industry. You know, the byproduct coming from A industry is a raw material for B industry, and that becomes raw material for C industry, and so on. So therefore, from the triple R concept, now we have moved on to circular economy. Good. But then, how do we achieve this? It requires integration of the minds, integration of the resources, integration of the policies at the government level, both at government of India and state level. Both vertical integration and horizontal integration is necessary. Otherwise, if we start working in silos, we will not be able to achieve the circularity. Hence, various ministries at government of India level must work in tandem. They should integrate their policies. When some MSME ministry is promoting MSME, they should provide incentives for the industries which are involved in recycling process. They should provide extra incentives. When the national highways are being built, they should look at what are the areas where they can support an industry which is using recycled materials, whether it is for laying the roads or constructing culverts or any other area where they can integrate, support the industry which is promoting recycling or which is using recycled materials. That kind of integration is very, very important in order to achieve our objective. Similarly, innovation is equally important. New technologies are coming up. The other day, one IIT boy from Kharagpur came and told me that he has a technology which is patented, wherein the present policy of converting batteries and the e-waste can be done through a simple process, a single process where he can recover various metals. Such patented technologies have to be promoted. Such youngsters have to be given incentives to start their new units or startups. So the startup economy is equally important when we think of the circular economy. We have to encourage such new startup entrepreneurs so that they get a space for establishing themselves in this new opportunity. So another point that is relevant for promoting circular economy, not necessarily pertaining to recycling of tires, even exports. Wherever there are opportunities, the policies have to be liberalized to that extent that the products coming out of, the recycled products coming out of our Indian entrepreneurs, they don't have too many hassles to market their products. For example, Government of India has the procurement policy. The state governments their own procurement policies. In these procurement policies, they must provide some percentage of procurement from the recycled products. There are opportunities. It is, well, possible within the system. Last but not least, I would also recommend very strongly to Niti Aayog, Ministry of Environment and Forest is here. My suggestion is that whenever you think of recycling or circular economy, build in incentives in the form of tax incentives like GST. If you are charging for a regular product 18%, give some concession rate of tax, maybe 5% or 10%, so that there is encouragement for more and more entrepreneurs to come into the area of recycling of various products. So my appeal to the members here, perhaps even the organization like MRAI can also make an appeal to Government of India and the state governments that incentives have to be built into the circular economy wherever recycling projects are there, so that we can find more and more entrepreneurs entering the area and we can achieve the objective. So finally, the circular economy, apart from economic benefits, it can give a lot of employment opportunities. It will promote efficient usage of resources. Ultimately, it helps in protecting the environment. This is the objective of circular economy. Friends, with this, I thank all of you for having given me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. P. Krishnaiya. That was very encouraging. I think we should give him a big round of applause. And now I would like to have Sri Anand Kumarji, Director and Divisional Head, Waste Management, CPCB, to address us for the policy framework and circular economy to reinvent tire recycling industry through online or Zoom.
Yeah, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I
sir, you are
audible?
audible. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. Dignitaries on the dais, respected invitees, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. At the outset, I would like to congratulate MRAI for organizing this international workshop. And I am also feeling honored for my participation and for invitation extended to me by the MRAI. So thank you, MRAI, and congratulations to you for organizing such a wonderful workshop. Waste tire EPR regime has the regulations came only in 2022, but before that, MOEF and CC was regulating the import of waste tires through the hazardous waste management rules. So people something gone wrong. Am I audible still? Am I audible, sir? Kindly confirm by raise your hand. Yeah. So what I am saying that the EPR regime came in 2022. It is a portal-based regime where the OEM manufacturers of tire companies who are manufacturing tire and placing it on the markets are obligated for recycling of tire, and they were given the recycling targets. Initially, the target started with 35% of the total generation, total sale in the country. Then in the second year of the regulation, means financial year 23-24, the target was made 70%. And after that, in the third year of regulation, it was 100% of the total sale. So we are seeing a great progress here. We are seeing that we have almost 262 producers of waste tire are registered on the portal. This includes importer of waste tire also. So in the e-waste, in the waste tire regime, we also obligate those entities who import waste tire, and we treat them as a producer and give them obligation for recycling of the quantity of tires imported by them. Then we also register the retreater of the waste tire and the recycler of waste tire. In the EPR regime, the focus is on recycling. So accordingly, from the waste tire, there are 5 end products which are identified in the route. These end products are crumb rubber, reclaim rubber, crumb modified bitumen, pyrolysis oil and char, and recovered carbon black. And then to promote the certain type of recycling, the weightage were given to those end products, weightage which result in the larger quantity of EPR certificate, which I will explain in my subsequent address. So like carbon reclaimed rubber was given a weightage of 1.3 and recovered carbon is given a weightage of 1.25. And similarly, to discourage some of the recycling, in some of the product, the weightage was reduced. Like in pyrolysis, the weightage was reduced to 0.5. So you see, the regulation is quite, I will say, dynamic, and it has envisaged and it promotes the recycling, which is environmental friendly. It promotes the product which are environmental friendly. Then and I will say that producers, for fulfilling their obligation, have to buy the EPR certificate. So EPR certificate, how they are being generated? See, a recycler has to first enter its procurement on the portal. Based on the procurement, he will do the production of the respective end products, and based on the production and after application of the weightage, the EPR credits will be generated, and then these EPR credits are converted into EPR certificate when the recycler denominates it, and these certificates are being purchased by the producer. So we have a system where the recyclers are recycling the tire and the producers are buying those EPR certificate to fulfill their obligation. I would like to share with you some statistics. Presently on the portal, we have almost 484 recyclers having registration. Although we have received application 635, but so far we have granted registration to 484 only. Similarly, we have, and I will share with you the quantity of certificate generated for the financial year 22-23. It is 19 lakh ton. Similarly, for 23-24, it is 27 lakh ton. And for the current financial year, which is ongoing, we have so far generated 17.5 lakh ton of EPR certificate. And we have a obligation of 8 lakh in 22-23, 19.8 lakhs in 23-24, and 26.60 lakhs in 24-25. So obligations the recyclers, we must congratulate our recyclers who are able to generate so much EPR certificate. At the same time, we are having SOPs for the recyclers, for tire pyrolysis oil, for crumb rubber. So all these recyclers have to follow these SOPs. Now we are going to also start the audit. We are impaneling the auditors. We are hiring the third-party auditors, and we have also developed the audit software where the auditors will submit the online reports. He will inspect the units and provides us the real-time information with regard to the compliance of the recycling unit. We have also come out with the environmental compensation guidelines, where we have detailed out the violations which if registered entities make those violations, they will be penalized through the ECC, environmental compensation charges. We are also going to come out with an electronic trading platform where we have fixed the upper and lower price for trading of the certificate. So these are the initiatives under the EPR regime. That's all from my side. I wish the workshop a very successful deliberation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anand Kumar ji. Let's give him a big round of applause once again. And now I would request Sanjay Mehta ji, Chairman MRAI, to come and give the mementos to the dignitaries. So now we go to the next panel discussion. And to start the panel discussion, in fact, we already have on stage Shri Amit Rajji, Director, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Sir is a 2007 IRS IT officer, is Director, International Cooperation, MOEFCC, and is responsible for overseeing all multilateral cooperation, including UNEP, G20, G7, BRICS, SCO, SACEP, and other UN agencies. Sir also handles bilateral cooperation such as MOUs, agreements, and JWGs, and reports to the Joint Secretary. Please help me welcome Amit Rajji with a big round of applause. Next, I would like to invite Shri Rahul Goyalji, MD, Waste to Resource Solutions Private Limited, and Director of MRAI. Rahul ji is a seasoned director with extensive experience across 6 companies in India, spanning various industries such as automotive, construction, hospitality, manufacturing. His passion for excellence continues to shape the future of the organization. He actively holds the position of director at AIRTRA and heads the pyrolysis division in MRAI. Thank you so much for joining us, Rahul ji. Please give him a big round of applause. Next, I would like to invite Shri Kush Giramkar ji. He's the President, Operations, Procurement and Projects, GRP Limited. Kush ji has under his belt a hood and varied 25 plus years of experience in leading business units while managing important functions like operation, supply, chain management, project management, and business development R&D. Please give him a big round of applause. Now, next, I would like to invite Shri Sanjay Pran Banati ji. He is the Vice President, Business Development, Tina Rubber and Infrastructure Limited. Sir has been serving as Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Tina Rubber and Infrastructure Limited since 1988. In his role, he has been instrumental in driving the company's sales strategies and expanding its market presence. Please give him a big round of applause. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Rinkle Jindal ji, Head Apollo Tyres. Dr. Rinkle Jindal ji is Head Global Regulatory Compliance at Apollo Tyres Limited and leads the entire global regulatory compliance for both domestic and exports markets. Dr. Rinkle is a graduate in mechanical engineering, holds M.Tech degree from IIT Roorkee, and doctorate in material engineering from IIT Bombay, India, and Monash University, Australia. He has international research experience in Germany, Australia, and USA. Please give him a big round of applause. Next, I would like to have on stage Mr. Gaurav Nandaji, Chief Strategy Officer, Epsilon Carbon Private Limited. With more than 2 decades of experience, Mr. Gaurav brings a wealth of experience in strategy formulation, business development, management consulting. His experience comprises of diverse business areas of manufacturing, operations, strategy, implementation, and stakeholder management. Mr. Gaurav is pursuing his PhD in business management from XLRI Jamshedpur. Wow. We have a very august, we are in a very august company, and we have distinguished guests spanning different backgrounds, and who all contribute to this industry very positively. So I will move on to the questions. So I would like to start this session with a question to Sri Amit Rajji. We would like to mention that EPR on waste tires is one of the most successful implemented initiatives, and we really appreciate the efforts taken by MOEF and CPCB. I'm sure we all will agree with that. And now the EPR is emerging as one of the most critical drivers for sustainable waste management. We want to know, how does MOEF and CC plan to further streamline and fine-tune further, especially for tire recyclers, to meet the global standards and adapt to the evolving EU waste shipment regulations?
Thank you. EPR framework, as we all know, is a framework where you have, it's a responsibility framework basically, and that responsibility is to how to recycle, but at the same time how to make that recycling a useful and economically viable system, a way of developing an ecosystem where everybody has a win-win situation in a way. You're talking about EU waste shipment regulation. I think for that, it is important that we need to have more of items under the EPR framework, and I think in India, the kind of EPR framework we have, it is unparalleled, because it is looking at and catering to the needs and demands of different sectors. It is looking at informal sector, it is looking at the manufacturing sector, it is looking at the consumers, and also looking at the same time at the environment benefits. So EU regulations are now being implemented. We have identified in MFCC items which we will be conveying to the EU side, for which we would like to convey to them that this many items we want to import as waste, and there is no restrictive policy as such, because what we have thought is that while conveying to EU side what regulations, according to their regulations, what all items should be there, we are looking at the futuristic possibility of what all items can be included. So it is not a restrictive kind of list, but it's an open list where we can have as many items as possible under that. But the EPR framework, as I said, will be evolving more and will include more and more items under it. And I think that will address the future such kind of regulations by EU or any other country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think it was very resourceful to understand the stand taken by CPC, MOEF, and CPCB for the same. My next question, I would like to ask Kush Giramkar ji. GRP Limited has been a pioneer in sustainable practices. What, according to you, are the critical success factors for adopting best recycling standards in ELT recycling? And how can India take the lead in the global circular economy transition?
Thanks, Rahulji, for asking this question. And again, I am privileged to be part of this panel. So I think India is already much ahead in end-of-life tire recycling. We don't see hip-hop tires lying across the country. More than 98% of waste tires are being collected and put to different use. And now I think with the successful implementation of EPR, the entire tire recycling industry will be further formalized. So we have the brand owners which are using recycled materials like reclaimed rubber, micronized rubber powder already in their formulation. And fortunately, we already have BIS standards for reclaimed rubber and micronized crumb rubber. And we are also working now for setting up standards for new products like the oil derived from tires and also the RCB. So we are already poised to become a global leader for tire recycling. We have all the attributes ready, and with more and more players coming under EPR regime, we are well poised to take the next level. But still, I think we have few suggestions to take our country or the tire recycling industry to the next level. So now EPR funds being available to the tire recyclers, we can all invest in advanced technologies. These technologies can be more and more environmental friendly. And we can work together with the brand owners, the tire manufacturers to make our product more sort of efficient products so that brand owners can incorporate more and more products in their formulation. As we all know, supply chain is very, very important for collection and segregation of waste tires. Because tire being bulky, transportation cost is one of the major costs so that tires reach out to recyclers like us. So here we have few suggestions. We can work jointly with brand owners so that we can use the reverse logistics methods to reduce our overall logistics cost so that our entire cost of the transportation is reduced. And we also propose that there can be joint programs between brand owners and research institutes and recyclers to come up with new products made out of used tires so that we offer these products not only to the Indian companies, but also to the global companies. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was amazing to learn more from you. Now I'm going to, after the recyclers, I'm going to talk to the tire companies, the other stakeholders which are important. This question goes to Dr. Inkal Jindal, that we would like to know with, Apollo Tyres has been the forefront of regulatory compliance globally. You operate in many markets also. How do you see the global circular economy landscape influencing the ELT initiatives in India? And what role can international collaborations play out for the Indian market?
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to say thank you, MRAI and Niti Aayog, for providing us this opportunity to have interaction with you guys. So this question is quite relevant. If you look at the global regulatory framework on... So if we look at the global regulatory framework on end-of-life tires, as Apollo is doing export more than 100 countries, and we are working with a couple of countries on end-of-life tire management. So in order to tackle the situation, and Mr. Kus has identified, so the countries has challenges in terms of collection, logistic, and recycling. So right now we are more focused on the recycling. The second 2% we are not, as of now, not covering. So this, all these three, collection, logistic, and recycling, is achieved through either EPR or tax regime or the free market model. So, but what Europe, especially, they are focusing lots of regulations, especially of, I will talk about some of the regulation, which is today or tomorrow, it will impact India also. One is the eco-design for sustainable raw materials, where they are introduced the tire sector also on eco-design regulation. This regulation will be implemented in next 2 to 3 years. We will change the landscape for the recycling sector in India also, because where they are asking producer to minimum use of raw material, they will decide certain percentage of the recycled raw material, which will be mandatory to use it in the manufacturing of the new tires. So second, before this session, we had a discussion on the European waste export regulations, where Europe has made it mandatory that when somebody is exporting this waste from the Europe, either India or some other part of the world, the recycling industry should be on the same standard what Europe has. Yes. So once somebody will approve it that the recycling sector has the same, I will say, level of recycling infrastructure what Europe has, then only he will be allowed to export it from Europe. And as everybody knows it, that if you look at India, 1/3 of the import is from the European market. Whatever waste we are receiving, end of life tires we are receiving. So that will also definitely challenge for the Indian, I will say, recycling industry and provide us a different view. The third, there are lots of regulation on which is coming out, whether it's a control of some certain use of raw material, whether it's a 6 ppd or certain like tire road wear particles and all. And especially when Europe has recently banned the use of carom rubber on the artificial pitches. In the current scenarios, if you look at Europe is doing almost, I would say, 50 to 53% recycling, and 48% is going on the cement industries for burning and all in terms of energy recovery. So out of 52%, whatever they are recycling, almost 50% is going on the carom rubber. So once they decided to ban the use of carom rubber on the artificial pitches in the next, and that they have given the transition period of 5 years. After that, there will be a challenge or on the question of future of carom rubber in Europe. Then definitely this challenge can come, bring to India, and that definitely will impact on the recycling infrastructure in India also. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wrinkle. That was, a good view from the tire industry. And I'm going to come back to you again because we've got many recyclers here very keen to understand many facets of the recycling and the initiatives that the tire industry wants to do in collaboration with the recyclers. We'll come back to you again. And now we would like to go back to the next question to Mr. Rahul Goyal. As an entrepreneur in the waste and to energy domain, what innovative solutions do you envision to strengthen reverse logistics and also the possibility of partnerships between brand owners and recyclers to establish an efficient supply chain for ELT recycling in India?
Thank you for raising this question. And as it was mentioned by Kushi a while ago, the reverse logistics is something that is binding recyclers with the producers. And it is fortunate that unlike plastics or a phone or used phone, it is not difficult to get tires back from consumers. In case of plastic, yes, it happens that the consumer may throw it outside on the road, or in case of a used phone, he may put it in a drawer, and it's very difficult to get it back from its drawer to back to the producer. In case of tire, because it's not easy for him to pick it and take it back home, the tires are left at the tire shop or the tire workshop where they are replaced. And hence, to collect back those tires from those tire dealers, it's very easy. The only thing that needs to be done is to bridge a gap or make some mechanism so that the producers, the tire companies, are able to guide the dealers to discard or to give tires only to authorized recyclers. And hence, the concern that is normally raised by pollution boards that tire scrap is going to unauthorized people, unauthorized recyclers, that can be prevented because CPCB has the data of all the authorized recyclers who have registered themselves on the EPR portal, and that list can be provided to the dealers, respective dealers. From there, recyclers themselves can pick up the tires, and the same logistics that were used to deliver new tires can be used eventually. So unlike other waste module, I think tire is very, very simple and achievable at least. Thank you.
Rahulji, of course, I'm sure. I was going to say the same thing. I would like to have the tire industry's view also on Rahulji's replies.
Yeah, Rahulji has mentioned the valid point. Right now, reverse logistic is a major challenge because when we will ask our recycling industry also, what are the challenges for them? Their challenge is the collection of end-of-life tire from the market. Because in the current EPR regime, only the producer, recycler, the retraders are I will say, under the scope of the EPR regime. There are two, I will say, important entities or the stakeholders which is missed out. One is the consumer and second is the dealer. So as of now, there is no obligation on the consumer. And during the inaugural talk, Mr. Krishna Kumar mentioned that it's not a waste, it's a commodity for the consumer, because when they are changing the new used tire to the new tire, dealer is providing them, whether it's a 6 rupees or 8 rupees. Some economics are attached. And there is no burden on the, I will say, no obligation on the consumer to return the used tire during the purchase of new. That's why we are looking for the support from the policy makers to have some obligation on consumers to return the used tire when they are purchasing the new tires. In addition to that, if there is some possibility to have some green cess or I will say some type of tax which can provide us the financial stability for this entire ecosystem also. That will be a great. Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, we would love to come back to you again because this is very, very crucial for the recyclers and industry stakeholders to have this kind of communication wherein the problems can be identified and then finally together solutions can be done. And now moving forward, I would like to ask Kush Giramkarji again, get him back in the discussion. What role do you see for government initiatives in fostering R&D projects, attracting investments, and expanding the market for recycled tire material? How can government policies effectively support the growth of the sustainable tire recycling industry in India?
Yeah. So as I said, India is poised to become global manufacturing hub for tire recycling under Make in India initiative of Government of India. So I think successful implementation of EPR already is a very, very important step Government of India has taken and helped tire recycling industry. So I would say going forward, if this industry is to really take a big leap, a few more initiatives we expect from the government. Tire recycling is again very, very energy and labor intensive process. So, and in India, I think energy cost is one of the highest among the world. So maybe government can think of providing subsidized power for all the recycling industry. And government can also think of providing some skill upgradation program for our workforce so that we get the really good people for working in recycling industry. Few months back, Government of Maharashtra has declared setting up circular recycling parks wherein we can have common infrastructure like CETP or common transport hub. So such kind of initiatives government can suggest to various state levels so that recycling industry can work in a particular hub and basically all these amenities or infrastructure is made available to the recycling industry so that we sort of develop and invest more in our core technologies and not required to invest in the facilities. So these are few of the initiatives government can think of providing to the recycling industry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, as we all, as Kushji's mentioned also, that without government initiatives, a lot of things are not possible. The industry will require, and we see the ongoing support also. But now fiscal support also is something which, if is extended, this could also help. This is what Mr. Giramkar had to say. And of course, I agree with that completely. Next, we move on to Sanjay.
Rahulji, can I come in, please?
Sorry, sir.
But just sorry to interrupt you. We can go to next. Just a small point I want to make here regarding the policies. We have EPR policy, and in that policy, as we all know, the kind of recycling, the kind of byproduct which is being generated will determine what kind of certificate will be generated. Like if you generate a product which can be reused in the rubber industry, then you get a higher EPR certificate. Say 100 kg of recycled product will generate 150 kg of EPR certificate. So that is the kind of policy government already has in recycling of tires. Apart from that, the points which you have raised regarding the initiatives in terms of the capacity building or the facilities, those have been taken note of. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And now the next question I would like to pose to Mr. Sanjay Banati. As one of the key players in tire recycling industry, what strategies or innovations have you adopted to ensure the sustainability and marketability of micronized micronized crumb rubber, reclaimed rubber, and other recycled products as a competitive alternative to virgin materials?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Uh, you see, we at TINA started manufacturing micronized rubber about 10 years back with the capacity to produce 3,000 tons annually. Today, we are doing about 15,000 tons annually and growing further. In these 10 years, we've developed the product and done a lot of research. And today, we are making micronized rubber as fine as 75 micron, which is just like a talcum powder. It is being widely accepted and used by the tire companies all across for their sustainability goals. And you'll be surprised to know that world over, they are using 20 PHR of micronized rubber in their compound, which in India is also increasing day by day. Today, I think in India, the tire companies are using about 5 to 7%, 5 to 7 PHR, which is likely to grow further. And more development is being planned. We are doing a lot of further research to make it even better and promote it as much as possible. We have been requesting that, micronized rubber should also be included in the EPR framework and given more weightage or the same weightage as reclaimed rubber, as it is being directly used for making new tires and falls into the circular economy. With regards to other recycled products, another alternative is crumb rubber modified bitumen. You are adding 14% of rubber to bitumen, which again, is replacing 14% of bitumen, which is being imported. We are roughly importing 4 to 5 million tons of bitumen every year. So just imagine 14% being replaced by recycled material will save that much quantity of imports. Likewise, entire companies also, if they plan to increase the usage of micronized rubber, then the import of natural rubber will reduce tremendously, which will save on the foreign exchange. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And that is absolutely enlightening that how much the recycled products made out of end-of-life tires can not only be good for the environment, but also save forex. That also is something which is worth discussing and understanding also. Next, I would like to ask Mr. Gaurav Nandaji that you recently announced that you have setting up an RCB unit in Karnataka. How do you, can you share your vision for RCB business in India? Yeah. Because this is of a very, very large interest, I think, not only in India, globally, about the RCB subject, as we spoke.
Yeah. In fact, before this session, we were briefly talking. So before I answer the question, I would like to thank MRAI and NITI and other sponsors to have us here. This is the need of the hour. Recycling is the topic today. Coming to the question at Epsilon, to push our sustainability agenda, to push our circularity agenda, our vision is to get into RCB. We've committed investments in RCB. We are coming up with a initial manufacturing or a tire recycling facility which will process about 30,000 tons of tires annually and produce about 9,000 to 10,000 tons of RCB. Plus, as we were researching about this topic, we realized that the oil which gets generated during the process can also be converted into RCB. So, in fact, when we were doing this research, discussing this with potential customers, including many of the tire companies within India, outside India. So they also collaborated and said that, okay, if you are able to, produce carbon black from the oil, I was just sharing before this session that there are customers who are saying that, okay, you take that confirmed order from me, you give me the total RCB. So that is probably the kind of, importance within India and outside India, which is, getting for RCB. And Epsilon is ready to partner with the customers. In fact, we are doing a lot of trials with the customers because there are various grades which go into tire manufacturing. All grades might not be able to, take up as much quantity of RCB, but what is the right ratio? Currently, people are, in a way, going slow, rightly so, that, okay, can we add 4%, can we add 6%? But we are ready to collaborate so that we do those trials and we get to the maximum percentage so that we save the environment. So that's the overall vision for us. This is phase one for us. We plan to reach to 100,000 tons of, tire processing in about 2 to 3 years from now. So that's the kind of planning we are doing. The plant is coming up in Bellary, Vijayanagar, where we have current facility also.
I'm also very keen to understand that what's your vision for the next 5 years as an RCB, as a product manufactured out of India. Do you see India as a leading manufacturer of RCBs and exporting across the world? Is this something which you envisage?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, many of our, Epsilon and our competitors are actually exporting a lot of material to European countries, to some part of US as well, or some quantity to US as well. And when we are interacting with the customer, they also, from a regulation standpoint, probably those geographies are slightly ahead as compared to India. So they want RCB today or recycled material today. So next 5 years, probably, I see there is a lot of scope for recycling as a whole and RCB in particular. But one, I would not say word of caution or something, but how we can, increase streamline the logistics, which a couple of speakers just now mentioned. There is the easy access to import tires. People say that, okay, quality is okay, it's slightly cheaper as well, maybe 2-3 rupees on an average for the year per kg. But in India, we are also producing probably a few hundred million tires, end-of-life tires every year. So how do we, streamline that reverse logistics so that we get that quality? Otherwise, it's like a garbage in, garbage out kind of scenario that you have to put in the right quality of tire so that to get the right quality of carbon black. So if we can work on that reverse logistics, that will be very helpful.
Thank you so much. And I think everyone was very curious to know from the experts in the industry who are also into virgin carbon blacks and now with recovered also. So that's going to be very encouraging for everyone. And I'm sure no session in tire recycling these days moves ahead or it comes to an end before speaking about EPR, right? And who other than Rahulji to speak about EPR? So Rahulji, first of all, I want to ask you from where the policy started and where we are today. Please enlighten us. And then what do you think are the opportunities and challenges ahead, or ways, what would you like to see the EPR policy as a policy happening in the next 2 or 3 years?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank MOEF for recognizing and incentivizing recyclers. And I think that is being a major initiative. And you'll be likely to know that whatever money is being given to recyclers is actually being reinvested in upgrading their pollution control facilities, which has been a concern for a period of time. For example, in case of pyrolysis, people have been upgrading to advanced batch systems. There have been capacity increase also at many locations, thereby generating revenue for the government as well as employment. So that was the whole objective of bringing in EPR. And at the same time, I would like to congratulate producers to who have taken this policy in a very, very optimistic and a positive manner. Uh, they are all here also. They have collaborated with us. They have collaborated with the recyclers. They have guided them a lot. And this is something that was actually demanded. And this was the outcome that was expected out of such a policy rather than only a monetary thing, but something that can value add to this. And that's why I think we are having such a discussion of making more and more value added products. We are talking about RCB. So it is only because we have been promoting pyrolysis also, because RCB is eventually a, a finished product, a value-added product after making carbon char. And as the gentleman rightly said, that even from the pyrolytic oil, we can make RCB. And you'll be surprised to know that oil costs like 40 rupees a liter, but RCB that will be made will be close to virgin carbon, and which India has been importing a lot. So eventually, our EPR policy, which brought in to incentivize recycler, is making or has a potential to make finished products which can be exported, which is the final goal of our country. So from EPR perspective, I think I would like to congratulate both the producers and the recyclers who have been doing quite well. Well, when it comes to challenges, uh, definitely any policy when it comes, small teething issues do come, and, and a lot have been resolved also. Few suggestions that are there that would like to have for the Ministry of Environment and Forest is that maybe weightages of few products needs to be increased, and as well as new finished products, for example, micronized rubber.
Yes.
That needs to be brought in the policy and maybe with a higher weightage. Secondly, when it comes to RCB, right now the policy says that RCB, if it is delivered only to tire companies, gets their due weightage. But I think just to begin this whole journey, if RCB is being given to any other suppliers or people who have been using virgin carbon, maybe in conveyor belts or mat industry, should be encouraged and should be given due weightage. So these are few recommendations I would like to have for EPR for MOFCC. Thank you.
Wonderful. So that gets us to the end of this session, and I would like to first of all thank Amit Raj ji and and the whole MOEF team for really being so much proactive in terms of setting up the policy and providing so much of technical support. This is, and I would personally would like to also say, this is almost like a dream come true, that every week on week we see all of the senior officials so much eager to resolve problems of the recyclers. This was something which was unheard of in olden times. And really, this is so much amazing that the support extended by the government for all these initiatives, and the open-mindedness in which the policies are tweaked and tweened to accommodate everyone. And of course, the tire companies and recyclers and the government together, I think there is a fantastic way forward working together. So thank you so much, all the panelists, for all your valuable contributions. Thank you so much. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. And now I hand over to Kush Giramkarji for the next session. Thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry. We need to felicitate. Yes. Can I call Anirudh ji on the stage to felicitate the panel? And Harsh ji. Harsh Gandhi ji. as the program moderator for the next session. Koshri is the President, Operations, Procurement and Projects, GRP Limited. You just heard him, and Koshri has under his belt a varied 25 plus years of experience in leading business units while managing important functions like operations, supply chain management, project management, business development, and R&D. Please welcome Kosh Giramkarji.
Thank you, Rahulji. Again, I would like to welcome everybody once again. So I think we are running a little late. A lot of our colleagues have flights. So I'll keep it a little shorter. Maybe we'll not talk about the introduction. So I would like to call the distinguished panelists for today's last session, or the last session of the entire exhibition. So I would like to call Mr. Rahul Shingarpure, Director, Indogreen Enviro Private Limited. Rahulji, please. Yeah, next, I would like to call upon Mr. Vishesh Agarwal, Chairman, AIRTRA, on the dais. Next is Mr. Rahul Saxena, General Manager, Tyre Retreading Education Association, TREA. Next, I would like to call upon Mr. Ankit Kalola, Global Head, Sales and Operations, Fornax Technologies Private Limited. I would like to call upon Mr. Franklin Raj, Pyrolysis Business Analyst, Robert Wiebold GmbH. And I would like to call upon Mr. Nitish Shukla, Director, Indian Tyre Technical Advisory Committee, ITAC. So we all heard in the previous session how tire recycling has come to a very, very important point where there is global demand, increasing demand, more and more focus on circularity. So it has become very important for us to work towards newer technologies which are more and more environmental friendly, so that we recover more value-added products for industry to use. So with this, I would like, without much of delay, I would like to start the session. So we would begin with pyrolysis as a process. Technologies in the tire recycling industry have evolved over the years, particularly in pyrolysis. While still batch process dominate, but we have made progress in advanced batch process, then semi-continuous and now continuous process coming to the country. The recovered carbon black, which we talked in the previous session, is gaining momentum. Lot of interest locally as well as globally for this material, and we heard from Gauravji that there are open orders to the recyclers for supplying recovered carbon black. And earlier, our oil which was recovered from tire was basically replacing fuel. But currently, oil is also being thought to replace naphtha in whole petrochemical supply chain. So our products can be used locally as well as we can export these products to the global requirements. So with these evolving trends in the industry, I would like to ask Mr. Vishesh Agarwal, what steps should the pyrolysis industry take to make changing demands and address the requirements of these new segments?
Hello. Thank you, Krish. So pyrolysis in India, there are about 600 pyrolysis facilities. The average size of a pyrolysis facility is about 10 to 20 tons a day, which would mean it is about 4,000 to 6,000 tons in a year. So the first thing I would like to point out is the size of the individual facility. So we need to have a minimum economic size for a pyrolysis facility to actually comply with all the norms and to grow as a company. It is not possible to have 1 or 2 reactors and then be compliant as well as have all the lab testing facilities and go through all the audits which are required by the tire industry. One example I would like to share is last week I was in China, and China is about 10 years more advanced than what India is with the pyrolysis field. 10 years ago, I had visited China. There were individual pyrolysis plants which were established, and all of them were making pyrolysis oil, 1 or 2 reactors, and they were doing exactly what India was doing. This time when I visited China a week ago, all these pyrolysis plants had shut down. It was not viable to run pyrolysis on its own, have 1 or 2 reactors, and run pyrolysis. There were about 5 or 7 big pyrolysis plants running, which had 10 reactors, 20 reactors, 30. The largest one had 50 reactors running, 50 continuous reactors running, producing carbon and converting carbon to RCB and selling the RCB to carbon black manufacture. So if you're not integrating and if you're not expanding, then you're bound to shut down. So this is one big point I would like to drive. One other point I would like to drive is testing. So right now, all the pyrolysis plants, we have zero testing. Incoming raw material not tested, outgoing oil, carbon, nothing is tested. So laboratory cost would be 50% of your plant cost. That's how expensive it is to actually test. And in the previous session we had Epsilon. They would share with us that how costly it is to actually test carbon and make a world-class RCB plant.
Thank you, Visheshji. I think that is very, very important. You said all about scalability, and we as a country, if we have to move up in the value chain as far as pyrolysis is concerned, I think scale is the solution, and technology is also available. Currently, it's a matter of investment, and of course, investing in the testing facility. So we will take this. I would like to now move to Mr. Franklin Raj. With increasing interest in sustainable feedstock across the globe, in tire pyrolysis oil, which we call TPO, is gaining ground in petrochemical applications, while bio-based oils are also competing in the market. So as the recycling industry adapts to these developments, how is the tire pyrolysis technology likely to evolve to support these changes?
Thank you for the question, and thanks to the MRAI for having us here. So regarding the future of TPO market, from my perspective, I don't see a disruptive technology adaptations or improvement just to cater to the evolving TPO market towards high-value commodity applications. The reason being, in the West, TPO is already accepted by, let's say, refineries, petrochemical industries, and even tested and accepted by virgin carbon black industries as it is right now. So, and secondly, if pyrolysis companies are looking to, let's say, further process the TPO or further refine it, volumes are needed to justify the economies of scale behind it. For instance, a prominent pyrolysis facility in the Netherlands is planning to process about 180,000 tons of tires, which will produce approximately 60 to 70,000 tons of TPO, where they have inbuilt refineries in it or a post-processing facility. For their case, it makes sense to further post-treat the TPO, whereas for a pyrolysis facility producing 5,000 or 10,000 tons of TPO, it doesn't make sense to justify the efforts, let it be marketing or technical and the processing cost behind it. That being said, nevertheless, it will be the ultimate local market which will determine whether to which application segment the TPO will go towards. For example, in the UK market, their regulations or the RTFO program requires TPO as a single fraction, which will be sold about $1,000 per ton. Whereas in the other markets, for example, countries like India, where there are no significant regulatory pushes, and also producing about 600, 700,000 tons of TPO in Indian market, spread across multiple facilities, where we see there's probably an off chance that an external trader or large off-takers themselves might establish a single processing facility and pooling resources from multiple TPO suppliers to process the TPO, and then, for instance, say, give the heavy cuts or the heavy fractions towards a virgin carbon black industries or the light fractions towards petrochemical industries or SAFs and so on. So this is how the industry will move forward in our view. Thank you.
Great. So thank you, Mr. Franklin Raj. That is quite interesting. And we know where the global industry is going in terms of offering pyrolysis products to the value-added applications. So I think we are much behind, but we will catch up there very soon. Thank you. Now I would like to move to Mr. Nitish Shukla. Sir, the global sustainability targets for tire industry currently is at 40% using recycled materials in the tire formulations, not only recycled tire materials, but in the other materials also. And now industry is saying that by 2030, they will achieve 100%. Sorry, by 2050, they will achieve using 100% recycled materials. So again, quite interesting. So we would like to know from you, are tire manufacturers in India actively considering the sustainable recycling of end-of-life tires during design and manufacturing process? Now, this is a little contradictory because tire is a very safety-oriented product. And now we are requesting you whether you as a manufacturer are considering that tire should be relatively easy to recycle. So very interesting to know from you.
Thank you. Firstly, on behalf of Atma Tech, I would like to congratulate MRAI and great to have Mr. Amit Verma from Niti Aayog and inviting us to share our thought process on very important subject and topic. So gentlemen, Atma Automotive Tire Manufacturer Association is an apex body of Indian tire industry, having 6 member companies on the board: Apollo, C8, JK, MRF, and 2 international companies, Bridgestone and Goodyear. These 6 tire companies leads the tire production of 90% and turnover overall as an industry 90,000 crore. So understanding the significance and importance of if the Atma Tech and the 6 member companies, they account for the 90% of the total production of the country, we were supposed to play the key role. And let me tell you that the ITAC, the technical wing of Atma, Indian Tire Technical Advisory Committee, has played a key and the vital role while formulating the CPR regulation way back in 2020 and 2021 when we had Additional Secretary Mr. Ravi Agrawal. I think Mr. BCS is known to that. So now coming to your question, as I told you that we have the international member companies, Goodyear and Bridgestone, and now all our 4 major companies, the leading Indian tire companies, I'm very proud and happy to tell you that now they have the global presence. And even almost 2-3 years back itself, looking at the UN agenda for the sustainability development goals, each and every these 4 member companies, Apollo, JK, MRF, C8, have started using the sustainable materials. They are very much committed to achieve the target of using 40% of the sustainable materials by 2030. As an industry, we have been very collectively looking forward to have the best quality and the good quality of the recyclable materials. At least if I name 2-3 which are very useful, and the first R of the circularity, that reuse, so reclaimed rubber, crumb rubber, and the recovered carbon black. A lot of the initiative has been taken. I'll be talking to you later that what initiative as the industry Atma Tech has taken to bring the recycler on the board under the Industry Academy program. Because unless until we get a good quality of the material, I think in the today, Mr. Naresh Paul Gangwar has made a very important statement in his opening that while the CPR regulation has brought the capacity of the recycling facility, the quality is going to play at the same time the key role. Because the tire is a commodity where we have a lot of the safety and the performance regulation. So unless until we have a good sustainable material, we cannot replace the virgin material with that. On and above to the this use of the sustainable material by 2030, 40%, industry is also very closely working with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power by under the PAT and the carbon credit program. PAT scheme is the perform, achieve and the trade to reduce the emission of the in the various processes. So this is the first statement I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nitish ji. So I think it's quite encouraging to know that Indian tire companies have taken such an aggressive target. And again, this is the opportunity for all of us recyclers. We heard recyclers, we heard the pyrolysis expert, we also heard the view of tire manufacturers. Now, I would like to move to the technology provider. So next question is to Mr. Ankit Kalola and same question to Mr. Rahul Sringarpure. Over the past decades, European and American companies dominated tire granulation technology, and then China came. But today, Indian companies like Fornax and Indogreen, they are competing in a big way, and there are a few others. So we would like to know what innovation and advancements in this segment particularly, which your companies are focusing in the development of competitive and local technology for tire recycling.
First of all, thank you very much for having me on this panel discussion. So I'm really glad to see the Indian companies today making significant business in the tire shredding technology and the granulation technology, which was dominated by over the years by the European and the USA companies. So today we are making best of them with many factors such as specially customized design equipments to cater highly Indian unorganized waste, which we are having availability in the local as well as on the imports that we are getting for the recyclers. The second is the high capacity and heavy duty equipments. So we have been focusing always more on the innovation and the advancement, not only for the Make in India technology, but also for the to contribute the development and competitiveness of the local manufacturing. So our high capacity equipments and robust equipments has beaten the many European as well as American technology in terms of making the recycling business more successful. The third one is investing in R&D. To stay competitive, we invest highly in the innovation, in the research and development in many areas such as the energy efficiency, material recovery rates, along with the highly automation systems like IoT-based systems. So we continually upgrade our equipments on the basis of customer feedback to ensure that we meet the highest standards of the equipment to make the recycling business more profitable and sustainable for our customers, for our recyclers. And the final one is the competitive pricing. We are much, much competitive in the pricing aspects in comparison to the European as well as the Chinese, or if you can say American equipments, which meets the EU and Australian standards. If you compare our equipments, that just meets the standard of the European standards as well as the Australian standards. And we have replaced, this is to be proud, I can say that we have replaced a lot of European and American technologies with the Fornex equipments, not in the domestic market, but also in the international platforms. So today we can proudly say that Make in India technology can be way better than the European or American technologies, and we can beat by supporting the local manufacturing and the Make in India initiative under the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. In addition to what Ankit said, first of all, I would like to say that proudly say that India is the tire recycling capital of the world today. If the data shows that 1/3 of tires, or about 1.5 million tons of tires, are imported and plus another 2.5 million tons generated locally, about 4 million tons of tires, this is what the data says, and if it is true, then I think there is so much to learn from us. Today, when I extensively travel worldwide, people are so curious to know what's happening in India. What are they doing with so many tires going in? How are they processing it? And what is this whole thing about 25 chips? People don't understand worldwide because these markets did not exist. 20 hours of working every day. At least every recycler in India today does about 20 hours of shredding. And I can tell you, it's a wonder how recyclers in India are able to really meet, just how are they able to make profits. It's a big wonder. Buying at $100 and maybe, selling it at $150 or maybe, $175. How do you really buy equipments, manage, maintain everything and finally able to give out a product and, and still be able to, have a smile on their face. It's really a wonder, and in fact, today Indians, tire recyclers, are going to be sought after all across the world. That how do you ever be able to make money with such and with no fiscal support in terms of tipping fees or other incentives like many other countries. But yes, they all are happening. So that is where the technology partners, we all have to keep on working our brains out all the time. That because of uh, the, the, the cap on capital expenditure, which is forced upon to us, because the viabilities of the project don't exist beyond a certain, capex expenditure. The maintenance costs have to be kept down. At the same time, you have to work in a very, very abrasive industry. To also meet all these ends is almost like the same discussion like what the discussion was in terms of the tire industry trying to get in RCB, when on one side the government is pushing them with better and stringent norms for safety and for fuel efficiency, and on the other hand sustainability also needs to come in. So same thing is where the technology providers today are in the same bracket today. And it's a tough task to be able to meet all ends, keep the prices low, give great services. Maintenance as a subject in this country is a little, it is a lot of learning to happen for recyclers. And then to be able to really give a good quality product is what we all are forced to do. R&D as a subject, as a country itself, I think so in every sphere, there is so much to be done. Investments are very meager in R&D, but all that put together, we all are doing things which people have not been dreamt of. I would like to congratulate Fornex for taking the first step in manufacturing, and really they have done a great job of putting the footprint everywhere. We have been doing EPC for the last 12 years all across the world, including Europe also. So we have also, and people are wondering that, how does India be able to teach people about tire recycling? And so equipment-wise, we all have to finally end up customizing. Very, very tailor-made equipments have to be made for India specifically, which the world cannot even fathom. How can you do 6,000 hours of, processing a year and still be able to, for the equipment to stand tall and still perform? So with all those odds at place, I think we all of us are, doing our bit to make things happen. And we have very, very specific shredding equipments, very, very customized for the Indian market, which has been very, nicely received by the Indian market. And this is just the beginning. So this is where the technology partners are working together to see how we can improve on a daily basis. And our final objective is the profitability of the recycler. If the recycler is profitable, recycling will happen, technologies will keep on coming. But yes, some amount of government support, I would say, will really encourage all of us to do much more better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit ji and Rahul ji. So it's great to know how Indian technology equipment manufacturers are working, continuously innovating and offering their equipment to the Indian industry. Not only Indian, but also they are exporting out of India. So I think next important stakeholder in the whole tire management is the tire retreading. I would like to now go to Mr. Rahul Saxena ji. The tire retreading industry plays a very crucial role in reducing dependence on virgin tires by extending the life of tires. Globally, we have seen the tire retreading industry has companies of significant scale some reaching even $1 billion in size, while in India, this industry remained fragmented. So what factors are preventing the Indian retreading sector from achieving similar scale, and how can advancement in technology infrastructure drive growth for the Indian retreading industry?
Thank you, Guzzi, and thank you, MRI, for inviting me for the panel discussion. And also I'm thankful to ATMAR, Tyre Recycler Associations, and CPCB and MOEFCC for accepting retreaders as a part of the EPR policy in India. So talking about we come from an industry that is called the reuse industry. The EPR policy comprises of three pillars, that is the reuse, reduce and recycle. So we come from reuse, and our association, TRIA is a Mumbai-based association. It is Tyre Retreading Education Association, and I am a member of that, and also I am belonging to the India Rubber Limited, a pioneer company for retreads. So this association is a member of 15 important tire belt manufacturers, that is the pre-cured thread rubber manufacturers in India, and is associated with around 9,000 to 10,000 retreaders across India, comprising of all companies. It is seen that in India, straight away to the questions, in India, 10,000 retreaders retreading 10 millions of tires, whereas in US, it is 16 million of tires retreaded by only 650 retreaders. So you can very easily distinguish what is happening. It is very fragmented. India, so in India, we have to, that is not organized market, and we have to standardize the market. So that is the thing for that. And importance of retreading, 10 millions of tires are retreaded, is saving 0.6 million liters of crude oil every year. And then 0.4 million tons of rubbers are also saved by this. 1.4 million CO2 is being saved from emitting in the atmosphere. So that's prevent the global warming. So that is the importance of reuse. Ultimately, the tires which are retreaded, the tire manufacturers manufacture these tires for better retreading second life, and ultimate goal goes to the recycler. But if the tire is meant for reuse, let us reuse it first. That is for the better of environment and for the better use of the EPR policy. That is there. Straight away, challenges, what is preventing this? The challenges are, this is, as I already said, that it is unorganized, lack of standard operating procedures, lack of standard. Already the government have the BIS standards for all retread, for the process also, for the material also, and for the implementation of these standards. All are casing, repair, everything is available with the government. Only thing is the mandatory implementation is not there. So that is the things. Another thing is the lack of skilled labor. That is, the skilled laborers are not there in the industry, and no training is being provided for that. And for some cheap tires that are coming, that are not being good for retread, that is from imported tires. So that is also impacting this industry. That is there. Talking about the growth part, already it is a lot of things are happening in India. EPR policy has provided a platform to enroll all the EPR, all the retreaders into the EPR portal, and then by registering, they can have some EPR credits. But right now, it is not being done. So that is also pending. So growth part, roads are developing, and the tire industry is also growing. We are currently 5,000 to 8,000, 5,000 to 6,000 tons per month industry, and it is expected to grow by 8,000 tons by financial year 28. And also, the tire industry is also growing. It has grown from, it has to grow from $9 billion industry to $22 billion industry by financial year 32. So that's the growth signals. All the signals are good for the recycling and retreading industry also. So these are some of the growth parameters which are the thing, which are very good for retrading in India. And accordingly, the technology part, which the technologies we are using on the technological part, we are continuously upgrading our skills, by educating all the members, all the retrading partners. INDAG has a consultancy services which every 3 months does the audit of 150 retraders across India. Like all the other companies are also coming up for the education of retrading and to get a process standardized. Apart from this machinery, there are machineries in retrading, which some of the foreign players are also coming in India, which are setting world-class retrading units in India. And apart from that, we are in a discussion to establish the training under the Government of India skills development for that. So these are the some of the opportunity, technological opportunity, and other things. Regarding the use of sustainable material, we are already using silica in our threads, like the tire industry. Then linings is there, and rice husk are also being used by Vipala thread manufacturer at Europe, and soon that is to be technology is indigenous, or India also we can adopt that. So these are some of the technological developments. Machinery part, already the machineries are the CNC buffer and the panel, the CNC buffer and panels are associated with the standardization of machineries. So these are the parts which can lead to the growth driving of that.
Srinathji, just one thing I would like to point out.
Yeah.
It is often we confuse the point of circularity, sustainability, and recycling.
Yeah.
It is not all the same thing. It is three different things. So retreading is a part of circularity because you put it back into tires. So similarly, when we are talking about recycling, pyrolysis, if you don't complete pyrolysis and don't convert it to RCB and don't put it back into tires, it's half done job. So we need to make the circle complete and not leave it halfway. So the government policy or anything should revolve around completing the circle. And that's how, that's one good thing about the industry. The bad thing about the retreading, what I believe, is that car tires cannot be retreaded. And that's where we need the pyrolysis and RCB industry to come in and complete that circle, which is not there. It's not even being completed by Reclaim because Reclaim made from car tires is still not, at least in a big, huge quantity, going back into tires. So that is what I wanted to kind of say.
So to answer your question, car tires are retraded. 26% of the car tires are retraded in US, and in India it is nowhere, zero. So we have to take that challenge also for cars also, that we have to make the technology so advanced in retrading that we can retrade car tires in India also. Imagine the fact the plane tires, airplane tires are retraded 9 times. So that is the thing.
Thank you, Rahulji. You touched upon EPR, and in fact, we have been observing that since EPR has been implemented, a lot of tire recyclers have come under EPR regime, and we are seeing more and more formalization of the tire recycling industry. But we are still not seeing a lot of tire retraders coming under EPR. So whether you have any particular suggestions for policymakers and implementers, the steps they should take so that the entire retrading industry also comes under EPR regime?
So that is already the government has put retrading into the EPR regime, but right now the EPR portal is developed, but the credit allotment to retraders is still pending from the government side and with a discussion with us also. And also we have to train them, all the retraders, how to get registered in CPC portal and all those. That is also pending from the both sides, from our association side and the government side also. We have to make a hard push because from July, almost it's 6 months, we have launched the portal. We have developed the portal with CPCB. But unfortunately, the number of registrations are very less. And then second point is the mandatory push is also not coming. That is if a tire manufacturers get tire retreaded, then 1 year its liability deferred by 1 year. So from the tire industry also, many times Rinkalji and Nitiji also explaining that if we take the certificate this year, then the second year the certificate cost should be adjusted with the recycling cost, because the double impact, nobody want to take that. So these are the pending points which we have to take this strongly, and that will push retreaders apart from that. And the second point is that the BIS standards should be made mandatory across all India, so that the retreaders, the small retreaders who are not organized, who are making their own, एक belt आप सोच सकते हैं, pre-cure retreading is a highly technologically advanced process and manufacturing process. But in India, that is all the pre-cure thread rubber can make by any small or big dealer of retreader also. So because there is no check on that process, no check on that, nobody should make that pre-cure thread belt with any standards. So BIS standards should be made mandatory, and then the hallmarking of like the gold, how they have make the gold organized BIS marking, BIS hallmarking of gold. So that's why for the retreaders, 10,000 retreaders are there in India, there should be a mandatory hallmarking scheme for retreaders across India. So that is my suggestion, and that is there.
Since Amrit Raj sir from MOEF and Amit Verma sir is there from Niti Aayog. So as a tire industry through Atma ITAC, no doubts that this, we had also proposed that the tire retrading and very important key stakeholder in this whole circularity, they should be part of that. No doubts it's very unfortunate that what the number we are able to see from the CPCB portal, that only 5 or 7 so far retraders against the number 10,000. I don't know, out of 10,000 they will be in a position to tell that how many are the organized and how many are the unorganized. But these sectors somewhere need to be, sir. So I humbly request you on behalf of tire industry that need to be streamlined. Tire industry is going to take a lead. I think very positively we are proposing to the Bureau of Indian Standard to make this retrading standard mandatory. As on date, we have the retrading standard for BIS for both light commercial vehicle tire and the commercial vehicle tire. And once that becomes mandatory, of course, it will get. One negative factor, what tire industry foresee in this EPR regime, they are not going to generate any EPR certificate. This regulation tells that they are going to generate the retrading certificate. But after doing all so many administrative work, it can't be the FOC free of cost. So you tell that as a tire industry, if after 1 year my EPR obligation is only going to be extended for 1 more year, again the liability comes to the tire industry. So frankly, I'm telling that this is the views of the tire industry. Even if they are coming on the board and they will start asking that we need X amount against the issuance of the retrading certificate, not the EPR, we will have that reluctance. Why we'll take the double burden? So I request, Amit sir, to you, since you are formulating some kind of the framework, please consider this point, how this retailing sector, we have been also brought into the attention of Mr. Ved Prakash Misra, presently Joint Secretary and the man who is handling this subject. But this aspect need to be covered. I just thought to add it. Thank you.
To add on to this part, we also want to be a part of the steering committee of the EPR policy to get a momentum. Retrading is lagging because of this. To get a momentum, we can have a joint meeting frequently, and a representative from TRIA and the retrading industry can be a part of, anyone can be a part of this. And also, I would urge the government that right now transporters are there using these tires. Every transporter is using, whether small or big, they are retrading tires because it is a cost-saving process also, and also it's the environmental saving process also. So they should be, if the transporter, suppose a big transporters, 1,300 tires is retrading every month, so it should be get some carbon credits also, so that this should be pushed through the transporters also. So it will be beneficial for environment also and for the economy and EPR policy also, because this is going to save a huge amount of forex and environmental benefits for the natural resources. Thank you.
Thanks Rahulji and Nitishji. I think, again, as any resolution goes, there are improvements, modifications bound to come. So maybe in next hearing committee, this can be taken up. Thank you. So next round, we will be a little shorter for interest of time. Again, I would like to go to Nitish ji. So globally and also locally, tire manufacturers are increasingly using materials like reclaimed rubber, MRP, RCB, and biopolymers in their formulations. How do tire companies address the challenges of incorporating recycled materials while maintaining, which we mentioned, critical performance parameters like safety, durability, and efficiency? And follow up the question, could collaborative and R&D programs between brand owners and recyclers help accelerate adoption?
Thank you. So very important question has been asked by the moderator, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. One way we are talking about, you all be aware that the two important regulations are in place in our country. One is by Ministry of Road Transport Highways, AIS 142, that talks about the three important parameters of the tire: rolling resistance, which is nothing but the fuel economy; wet grip index, that is the braking resistance, it is a safety component; and the third is the pass by noise of the tire. In the country like India, even the PBN pass by noise requirement has been also set like the European regulation. And secondly, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power, they have introduced, like the other electrical appliances, like we have the air conditioner and the refrigerator, the tire has to have the star rating based on the fuel economy, based on the rolling resistance value. The biggest challenge what tire industry feels, that I think we had, Mr. Bises is aware that we are talking about the use of the recyclable materials. Yes, we are very keen, but the biggest challenge that as soon as we increase the doses of these recyclable materials, if I have to restrict myself to only these three recyclable materials: reclaimed rubber, crumb rubber, and the recovered carbon black. Recovered carbon black is, of course, as on date, tire industry at least has not tried in the case of the passenger car, light commercial and the commercial vehicle tire. Since ELT is going to play the role, as we understood that the most of the reclaim and the crumb industry, they are dependent on the import of the waste tire. And what we have understood, the reason behind that, the consistency, and that none other than I think Mr. Bises has at a different forum, he has told that from the domestically sourced ELT. So one of the important characteristics is the as contained. So whatever Europe has a tighter specification and the tighter regulation compared to India, so there the content of the silica is more. So if that ELT you are going to use for the production of the crumb rubber and the reclaimed rubber, so as content is going to play the vital role. Because already, and we can't compare with any virgin material. So that is the challenge. So to overcome that, I think under the past chairmanship of Mr. Ansuman Singhania, Managing Director of JK Tyre, Atma Chairman, we thought that now this is the need of our, and otherwise we are failing in our duty. And the whole objective of this circularity, what Ministry of Environment Forest has come out with this regulation, unless until both tire brand owners and the recyclers, they come on the board. So I'm very glad and pleased to share on this platform that 3 projects have been identified by us: reclaimed rubber, crumb rubber, and the recovered carbon black. In the case of reclaimed rubber, we are working out on the upgrading, enhancing the technology of the quality of the reclaimed rubber for increasing the dosage in the manufacturing of the new tire. As on date, maybe it will be, might be between 5 to 7 PHR, that is in the 100 parts of the rubber we are trying to use. And in the case of the crumb rubber, we are trying to improve the quality of the crumb rubber in the terms of the bonding and the structure. We need to understand that this is a basic rubber technology. These recyclable materials need to go good along with the other virgin materials. So that is the, unless until they goes good along, we have the good polymer interaction, polymer filler interaction, we can't achieve the desired performance properties, which is very much to meet the regulation. And the third case, in the recovered carbon black, we are trying to collaborate with the 3, I would say that the recovered carbon black manufacturers, 2 from the continuous process and 1 from the batch process. I don't know, this is also the myth in the India, Mrs. knows that, EnviroCare, the biggest RCB manufacturer in the world, their RCB is coming from the batch process, And look at that in India. We have heard the ministry, it has been the lowest the credit has been given to the batch pyrolysis unit. Something we need to understand the technology. Why EnviroCare, if they are RCB, and you'll not believe that the multinational companies, if I remember correctly, Bristol Michelin, they are using those. Visesji knows that. So something that need to be, I think Sir is there in the next steering committee. Of course, we are also going to put forward this. The time has come. I think this whole EPR regime, the recyclable target, what has been given, maybe in the next 2-3 years now, we have the 100% EPR obligation for this year, around 23 lakh metric ton, the target for the tire industry. As soon as we go for the next 2 years, and the total ELT generation is going to be increased by the 10%, the target which is allotted to these two, the batch and the continuous, it will be difficult to meet the EPR obligation. So that's why we thought that RCB also we have taken on the board. And we are trying to get collaborated with a lot of the R&D where we are bringing one academic partner also on the board, just to replace the softer grades of the black. It is not possible to replace the harder grades, the high reinforcing black filler, but N550 and 660 for the partial replacement in the manufacturing of the new tire. So these are the 3 important projects, gentlemen, we have taken, and we have kept the deadline. Maybe in the next 2-year time, the tire industry, Atma ITAC, will be able to publish certain document before the Ministry, MOEF, CPCB, and to the Niti Aayog. Yes, we have set a very, I would say that the big target, not only the marginal improvement we are talking about, reclaimed rubber from the existing doses, we are targeting maybe 15 to 20 PHR, and same like for the RCB. So this is the important update. We thought that this is our very important duty, that and let the recycler and the producer come on the board together to meet the desired objective of the CPR regulation. Thank you.
And one more thing, Nitish, is that if the
So,
tire
Visheshji,
companies which are
Visheshji,
actually...
I will come to you only, and then you ask whatever you want to ask Nitishji, and also answer. See now, Nitishji already said they have taken 3 products as a target product: reclaimed rubber, crumb rubber, and also the RCB. But at the same time, and we will be very happy to work with, so all recyclers will be very happy to work jointly, so that, whatever is required. So, Visheshji, I would like to answer you. While Nitishji said that he wants to work and try to increase the recycled content in the tire, but at the same time he said, he also described about his requirements in terms of quality, consistency. So as a recycler, how do you respond to this?
Yeah. So just to complete that question, I think there should be an incentive in place for the tire companies to also reuse or the recovered material. So for example, if Apollo is going to use recovered carbon black 2,000 tons, so that EPR obligation should come down by 2,000 tons. That's something very easily which can be done, and it forms an incentive for both you're putting. So what Nitishji also mentioned, so stability of the process is very important. So in the tire recycling industry, garbage in is garbage out. Anyone who's supplying to the tire industry, they are pre-sorting the raw material which is going inside. Whether it is, the reclaim fellows, they are, separating the sidewalls, the tread part, TBR and PCR and nylon tires, etc. So garbage in is garbage out. So we need to stabilize the process. And now if I want to use one particular type of raw material to get a stable output, there should be enough of that raw material available. Now because there is not enough raw material available, you need to first solve the raw material problem. So government policy has to be hand in hand to provide enough similar type of raw material availability, so that you can have large scale plants which can have the lab facilities, which can have the testing facilities, and which can, service the tire industry. That's one big challenge which is there. The other thing I would like to point out is not related to tire, but to complete the recirculation, the circularity. What is not happening in India is the ONGCs, IOCLs, and Ministry of Petroleum. They have not recognized pyrolysis as a biogenic fuel. If the UK can recognize pyrolysis oil as a biogenic fuel, and buy this at 3 times the price of diesel price, why can't India? Why can't the refineries in India do the same? So that is going to be the next big step, more than RCB, because the value which oil can get, RCB cannot get. You can sell the oil at $2,000, but you can't sell the RCB at $2,000. It's still selling for $500. So that value differentiation will come when the IOCs and or the ONGCs of the world will recognize this fuel as a biogenic fuel and substitute it for the biodiesel and ethanol which is being blended. So that policy gap is a big policy gap which is there in the Indian economy, which probably no one has pointed out today, but that is going to be a game changer in the whole thing. It can make technology advancements much more easier.
Yeah, thanks, Visheshji. That is different angle to the recycling. I would like to now go to Mr. Franklin Raj, just to maintain the flow. So we have been talking about tire pyrolysis oil and RCB. So with your global exposure, we would like to know what are the notable differences in the cost of technology for making RCB, the market readiness, Indian market versus global market, and sort of Indian, and whether you have any advice for tire recyclers who are entering into RCB.
Thank you. So it has been a huge topic of discussion. For instance, like high capex European technologies producing RCB, whereas the low capex and relatively simpler Indian technologies focusing on RCB, where they be able to compete or so. So before answering that, we should understand what's the background of these two different pyrolysis worlds, if I may say. For example, the Western countries, Europe, US, or Taiwan, their focus has always been on RCB. They started out as mostly as technology developers, focusing from R&D to a commercial facility, focusing on RCB and perfecting their technology around it. So if I may say, the Western world is the one who brought all this attention towards RCB, and they have a significant amount of experience and time, and they spent a lot of money along with various subsidies and researches towards this product. When compared to the Indian industry or the Asia Pacific industry, our industry has always, or historically, it has been focusing on tar pyrolysis oil, and the technologies were built around it. But now, over the past 3 or 4 years, companies have proven that RCB can be produced. They have retrofitted and modified their existing TPO production units, if I may call, towards producing RCB. And there are a few successful examples as well, which we see. For example, the recent release of a Billa Carbon JV with the Finster Carbon and so on. And also we see the significant expansion of existing RCB business. So essentially, yes, the market or the Indian market is almost ready, or few players have already proved themselves. Being that said, the second part is the competitiveness or the product quality. So the brand owners, besides the product quality, they expect HSE compliances equivalent or acceptable to their standards, which is, to be honest, which is quite lacking on the Indian market. So moving forward, what we see is the Indian RCB players voluntarily upgrading their technologies and HSE compliance, which is acceptable to the brand owners, so they can deal with them on a long term and supply materials to them. Thank you.
Thank you. It was quite insightful. So now I would like to move to Mr. Rahul Singarpure. So with the implementation of EPR and now growing demand for recycled products, tire recycling companies want to adopt more and more technologies, new technologies, advanced technologies. So do you foresee earlier cost prohibitive technologies becoming more accessible in the Indian market now? So when I say technologies end to end.
This is a very, very relevant question. This is
पार्टी खत्म होता है तो लाइट बंद होना चालू हो जाता है.
So this is a very, very relevant question, finally, and a very, very pertinent, because, all throughout, Indian recyclers sometimes get ridiculed all across the world as buying cheaper, buyers of cheaper equipments, or they don't invest enough money. And I have often, spent a lot of time, helping all Europeans and Americans, everyone, saying India does not buy cheap. India buys value. Our capital costs are different. Everything is different. And now you see, as the numbers have gone up, now as we become the tire recycling capital of the world, you're seeing equipments are, the costs are now getting optimized. The production efficiencies are required. We are compelled to have, different kind of, equipments manufactured to meet the Indian palate. And that is by compulsion, not by choice. And that is what is driving the cost down. So you will see more and more equipments today being made in India or maybe sourced from around us also, instead of going to Europe and America. And although I respect those equipments tremendously because of the resources available to them for R&D, for the timelines which are available for them for trials and testing, and after maybe 24 months of testing, they are able to get out a product out, which is, which has gone through tremendous amount of revisions. But when you're manufacturing in India or for this Asian market, neither do we have the time from concept to delivery, or nor do you have that kind of capital for R&D. And at the same time, your expectation in this industry for rigorous implementation, that means 20 hours a day is bare minimum. Sometimes even 24 hours is what I've seen, with only 1 day of maintenance. This kind of delivery for an equipment is happening, and the cost, but because of the numbers that we all enter today with 1,000 plus 1,500 reactors, or I don't know what reactor numbers, maybe 2,000 reactors in pyrolysis, the growing number of recyclers, shredding plants which are coming up every month on month, these costs now are very, very optimized today. And so, it's going more further. And you can see over the period of time, I think this is what is India going to give to the world. I keep on saying that today at the cost at what we are able to recycle a product, in fact, is a wonder all across the world. Even for reclaim, for anything else, our buying price of tires is so high when we import it, or even local tires prices. I think could be one of the most expensive in the world, if I'm not wrong, right? So, and with that, to really meet ends meet, with having equipments which will be able to perform. So this is already, we are already beating all numbers worldwide in terms of efficiency and value for money. So yes, I would say these numbers, and the more we all have more recyclers coming in, these numbers are going to drive efficiencies, which are going to have finally cost-effective production lines being in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahulji. So my last question for the session goes to Mr. Ankit. So Mr. Ankit, Fornex has been also exporting machines out of India. We talked about tire recycling industry becoming global leader for making in India. So at the same time, tire recyclers also want to set up factories outside India. So considering your exposure, whether you feel this is possible, and while entering into global manufacturing sector, what are the important parameters like scale, the environment, the regulatory factors we should keep in mind as a recyclers?
Yes, so with the emphasis increasing day by day along with the sustainability globally, not in India, but also in the global markets. So there is a lot of opportunity for the Indian recyclers to make the footprints in the different countries like GCC countries or European countries and Australian countries, because the government is always supporting in the Australia. Suppose if I take the example of the Australian government is specifically giving the grants to the tire recycling companies. So also we have developed sales partners along with the after sales service support, which can support in getting the license for the recycling industry, along with the quick after sales support that we are supplying the equipments worldwide. So definitely it's a very good opportunity for the Indian recyclers to come up with the expansion in the global market. And also, we are always open for the strategic partnership, that how we can help with the equipment. Like, for example, we can help with the Indian recycler to renting the equipment outside the India, so which can help the Indian investors or Indian recyclers to support them financially wise also. So, of course, it's a great opportunity to Indian recycling to make their footprints in outside the India, and Fornex will be definitely supporting in the strategic partnership.
Thank you. So I think it was very, very, yeah, please.
Since we are concluding the session and we have both the representative from Niti Aayog and MOEF, so again, sir, on behalf of tire industry, few recommendations. One has been already added by Mr. Bises, that incentivization to the tire industry for using the recyclable material. I think, sir, we came to know about the figure that tire industry has spent huge money on the procurement of the EPR certificate for the last 3 years, and the figure might be more than 600 crore rupees. Now, the appeal to the recycling industry that I think now their focus should be towards the improvement in the technology, and their focus should be more towards the material recovery. They should not forget that maybe after some time, if the government is coming out, already you must have heard that CPCB and MOEF, they have come in the case of the battery, the usage of the lead has been made mandatory, the X quantity. So if certain kind of that policy is going to come to the tire industry, we are bound to use a particular material. So unless until we get that desired specification, the consistent and the good quality material. So since very beginning, we have been telling to the recycling industry at this kind of the forum, please, the incentivization which is now have a significant value. So it's appeal to the recycling industry who are present over here, please try to come out with, please see that what are the best global practices are there. Try to only focus on providing a consistent, good quality material so the tire industry can think of using in the manufacturing of the new tire. And of course, the tire industry need to be, sir, that we have already submitted the proposal to steering committee and MOEFCC also. If you are talking about the circularity, if the tire industry is going to use the yes quantity of the reclaimed, crumb or any recyclable product, we must be getting our EPR obligation to that quantity what Mr. Bises has told. And now I think now the mantra of our Honorable Prime Minister, उन्होंने जो कहा था कि सबका साथ, सबका प्रयास, सबका विकास, जो मैं देख पाता हूँ as a true citizen of this country, now under this EPR circularity, the time has come. Policy makers, the brand owner, tire industry and the recyclers, all three need to work together to formulate a very effective, very comprehensive EPR regulatory framework for the effective implementation of the EPR regulation for the waste tire management. With this, I thank you all. I think it was a great event. Thank you so much to the MRAI, Niti Aayog, Amit Barma sir, and MOFCC. But please, these are the few, and of course, since beginning we have been also telling, if India is generating that quantity of ELT, why we are so much dependent on the import of the waste tire? That we have been telling, you might have seen, it has got published by our chairman Atma, it is in the public domain. We have been requesting to the government that if we are generating sufficient number of the ELT, now the figure is around 23 to 24 lakh metric ton ELT from the domestically sourced tire, then why still we are promoting that we should be dependent on the import of the waste tire, and that also in the press build form. So these are the 2 points I thought that on behalf of tire industry to put on the record as well on this important forum. Thank you so much, Mr. Vises.
Just little conflicting points out here. But yes, if you want consistency and if you want the large scale operation, I think how we get the tires is not important. The important thing is it goes back into tires. And if we can complete the cycle, save India from foreign exchange in the process, save the emissions. We have not spoken about emissions the whole day. But sustainability is directly linked to the amount of greenhouse gas savings you're doing, you know. So that is the factor we need to consider. LCA, we have not spoken to about. So these things, LCA, GHG savings is something for the next 5 years, which Europe is already talking about. But no one in India talks about it. So we have to make policy according to GHG savings and LCA rather than the whims and fancies of people and what people think. So let's look at the hardcore numbers. What are we saving from the environment and what are we taking from the environment? So LCA, GHG is something we need to put into practice.
Thanks, Visheshji. I think we had a very good discussion. We have seen that there are growing opportunities for tire recycling industries. There is more and more focus on circularity from the brand owners. They want to use more and more recycled materials, but at the same time, they want quality consistency from us. And there is the opportunity by way of EPR and by way of very, very good government policies to move to the next set of technologies so that India really becomes hub for tire recycling industry. So I would like to thank all the prominent, eminent panelists for sharing your expertise with all of us. Thank you so much. Now I would like to call upon, for the mementos. Yeah, I would like to call Mr. Sanjay Mehta ji, MRAI chairman, for handing over the mementos. And also Sharma ji, please, yeah. Mr. Rahul Shingarpure. Mr. Vishesh Agarwal.
I request Harsh Gandhi to please come on the stage.
Mr. Nitish.
I request Sujit Samadar please come on the stage. Please. Sujit Samadar. I request Amar Singh to please come on the stage.
We request Mr. Satish Kohli to please come on the dais.
कुश जी आप आ जाइए प्लीज. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank the full MRAI team. And, they have worked endlessly for the last, I think, 3 months and the last 3 days, even more. Amar, Sanjay ji, everyone, I think, has done a lot of hard work to put this thing together. Thanks a lot for organizing it.
So, I'd like to have a remark from Chairman, Sir. Ramakrishnan. Yeah. One of the remark on today's session, then I'll call upon Niti team for final conclusion on today's event. No, yeah, there will be.
And I would like to call Srimati Shrikala ji, Chairperson Kerala Pollution Control Board, also for the final remarks on the entire session. I would like to request Mr. Amit Raj also to be on the dais, please.
Conclusion one by one.
Yeah, now would like to request Srimati Shrikala ma'am, Chairperson Kerala Pollution Control Board, for the closing remarks.
Respected delegates on and off dais, good afternoon all. First of all, I thanks to these organizers for inviting me to this function. Along with myself, my colleague Chief Environmental Engineer is also present here. Sound is getting? So considering the importance of this topic, Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and has made this hazardous and other waste management and handling transformatory movement amendment rule in 2020 to July. And this topic, this Tyre waste management has been introduced as an amendment of this hazardous waste management. So this has been guided by this extended producer responsibility regime. So in which the producers, recyclers and the returns are used to register there. So in order to fulfill the these obligations on this waste management, so we have to have this environment sound management for this waste. So the thing is that this regime, we have this certificate and this IPRA credit for this recyclers, and these producers has to purchase this certificate. So my opinion is to have this collection facilities should be in a very good manner. In Kerala, we have this Government of Kerala company, Clean Kerala company is doing this collection mechanism, so that the recyclers can save the estimate of this type of transportation and collection of these materials to the recycling facilities. So the credit can, for some amount of the credit can be given to these collection agencies. So if a good collection agency should be there in the part of the government for every state. So they can be given to these collection agencies so that this can be done in a pan-India based manner. So thing is that if a particular manufacturer manufacturing this tire, say example for 100 numbers of tire, so the 100 numbers of tires will be moved to the 100 locations. So the manufacturer doesn't have the idea of whether this material will be moving into its end of life stage. So that is why this EPR is becoming important, because after registering these recyclers in the portal, and we calculate the quantity which was generated as well as the how much will be the recycled. So tallying with this, we can make sure that this has been 100% environmental sustainable managed, that has been cleared. So that is to be done by the regulatory authorities as well as the state government. So in these three sections, in the morning session, we have this end-of-life vehicles management, scrapping facilities and all. And in this case, the waste management. So, so much of discussions have been done in different sections by the regulatory authorities and the policy makers and the industries. They are saying about their challenges in their this working atmosphere and how they are doing these activities in such a good manner, and the bottlenecks what they are facing. So that has to be covered, and that has been made discussions in different forums by these policymakers and the regulatory framers and these industries. Then only we can make a good environment sound management of this waste materials. So in my opinion, more numbers of these pyrolysis plants should be made here, because once we have recycled in particular material, so what would be the life of the recycled materials? So how many times we can do it? So how these things has to be done in a sequential manner, or finally how it is easy to make this as a pyrolysis fuel. So that has to be, we have to think about that topic. And in Kerala, we have one plant in our Palakkad district, and it is doing in a very good manner. So many other challenges like this, the environment is it's a very tough for the laborers. So this health insurance has to be given to these laborers as well, and good atmosphere, working atmosphere should be given for this type of industrial activities. So I think it will be better to have a good discussion, healthy discussion in part of these different stakeholders, and we will have more discussions on this challenges, bottlenecks issues that we have discussed here. So I wish all success to these participants who are present here. So CPCB has formulated the EPR portal, and we have in state around 80 numbers of retrading units are there. So they are saying that they have some difficulties in registering this into this portal. So instruction should be given in such a way that it should be made easier for these retraders to register into this portal. So I once again wish all very best wishes to all the entrepreneurs and the units industries who are present here, and will move forward, all the stakeholders will move forward, these industries, regulatory authorities and the policy makers. Thank you.
Thank you, Shrikala ma'am. So now I would like to request Mr. Krishnaiah, Chairperson, Andhra Pradesh Pollution Control Board, for the closing remarks.
Once again, good evening, friends. Perhaps last 3 days, I feel after seeing today's programs, I feel I should have been here on the 28th itself, so that I would have been benefited personally. But somehow, I could capture the essence of the 3 days recycling conference, which covered many areas, encompassing the scrap. And then, when I first saw the invitation and then about this conference, I said, a conference on scrap? First time I heard of this, I was a bit, surprised. But then when I come here and see the range of topics that I have discussed and their relevance to the Indian society and the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister to put circular economy, which is ultimately the solution for the problem of waste and pollution in the society in general, not only for our country, all over the world. Yes, West has woken up a little early, Europe particularly, and they have made their countries livable and then pollution free. Now we can't afford, with the growing population and then consumption of the resources, India needs to take special care to minimize resource utilization and maximize the benefits of circular economy. Here is the time, it is the time that all of us should work together in this direction to make our country proud of better management of our resources, and in the process promote more economy, more employment, more efficient use of resources. And for that to happen, it's not enough if we have only theory, but we need to back up with certain good policies and support mechanisms from the government as well. In the other hall, I was sitting there, where nice presentations were given on the plastic management, recirculation or recycling of plastic. One entrepreneur came across, he has presented the story of Unwood, wherein in lieu of wooden materials, they are making plastic benches, various kinds of furnitures. An example I can quote, because since my friends from Ministry of Environment, as well as CPCB and also NITI Aayog are here, they are the policy makers. And at their level, policies get initiated. The directors play a very crucial role in governmental hierarchy. Since they have been witnesses to the deliberations for the last 3 days, I call upon them to communicate to the next level of their joint secretaries and secretaries, make a strong pitch for policy prescriptions towards incentivization of the recycled products. Then only we can move forward, we can move fast forward. The pace has to be enhanced if we have to catch up with the concept of circular economy. So, I'll give an example. Those benches, let us say, the Ministry of Human Resources provides lots of grants to schools and colleges in the name of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan or many other Government of India schemes. So they can always put a rider. Any new furniture shall not be with wooden furniture. Henceforth, to a certain extent at least, you may use recycled plastic material. Automatically, there will be a big boom of such industry which will use recycled materials. Likewise, there are any number of areas where the ministries can encourage policies through policies and also incentives. Like, again, they can make a strong case with the finance ministry wherein they can give certain concession in terms of taxation, GST, for example. Any product made out of recycled material should have a lesser GST compared to the material or goods which are made out of the original product. Automatically, there will be competition. See, you can't, as we know, some people buy materials in Karol Bagh. Some people buy in Janpad. Some people also go to Palika Bazaar in Delhi. So there are, depending on their capacity to buy, they choose products. If there is a choice, if there is a, concession, if there is a less price to recycled material, there are many to choose. So we'll be promoting the business that way. So tax incentives in the form of GST may also be considered by Government of India as well as state government. A proposal can be made to GST Council. I request MRAI also to make a memorandum, a representation to the ministry to consider some of these issues so that once there is a piece of paper, in government, paper is very important. That is the starting point of any activity or decision. So I request and I advise the MRAI to make a proposal based on the suggestions that came out in the last 3 days that you may initiate a proposal or request for the government to consider tax benefits. The third thing is integration. So there are many departments, many recycling activities happening. My suggestion may be MRAI also may consider, may think, how do we, instead of each material having a separate activity, separate industrial park, why not we integrate all these activities into certain recycling parks? Let us say you have half a dozen activities. For all these activities, wherever there is recycling involved, I'm sure we are recycling a waste. It will have a lot of toxic elements, a lot of poisonous or the materials which may not be. That's why we are calling it a waste. That's why we are trying to recycle. So to eliminate these things, we need to have effluent treatment plants. Specialized effluent treatment plants can be constructed, can be maintained when all these units come together in a particular recycling project or park. Once such parks are established, it is easy to establish infrastructure also, to create infrastructure. We can identify land masses required for establishing such parks. We can provide infrastructure in terms of power, roads, water, and also common effluent treatment plants. It is possible to provide such facilities only when you come together. Kindly think of promoting such integrated recycling parks in which you may recycle plastic, you may recycle the waste from the pharma industry, or you may recycle other scrap or plastic or any other material which we are considering for recycling. These are all the 3 points that I thought I would mention in the plenary session or the concluding session. I thank MRAI and the ministry's various departments who have contributed their might to make it a successful event. I'm sure a lot of takeaways are there from this 3 days conference, and I wish that this attempt goes on continuously. And in fact, I requested, I make it open request also from this forum that the next year's conference, I request MRAI to consider Andhra Pradesh as the venue to hold this 3-day conference. And we will support in all aspects to conduct this conference in Andhra Pradesh. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your very valuable suggestions. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Amit Raj, Director MOEF and CC, for his closing remarks.
Thank you once again for giving me opportunity to come on the dais. All the distinguished members on the dais, dear participants, today it gives me immense pleasure to be here. A lot of things I have learned, a lot of perspectives I have gained today. In one day, I have listened to so many views and suggestions. I'm just wondering, the last 2 days which I missed, I'll be happy if I can get what has been discussed in the last 2 days. So again, many congratulations to MRAI to organize this wonderful conference. And I hope in future such conferences are held, and your views, suggestions, ideas are always welcome. Ministry always tries to incorporate as many suggestions and try to resolve the teething issues, the problems which happen whenever there is a new policy, some new rule. Whenever there is any change, Amit sir in the beginning mentioned about change management, and we all have learned and seen how change management operates. Whenever there is any change, there are some issues which crop up. The idea is how to resolve those. The resolution lies in discussion, resolution lies in deliberation, and the government, being a welfare state, has a duty to resolve those issues so that there is a win-win solution for everyone. So with these words, I'll once again congratulate MRAI, and we look forward to future such conferences. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Amit ji. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Naveen Sharma, Vice President MRAI, for the closing remarks.
Good evening. We are at the end of this show, so I got chance to welcome, and now at the finish also. So giving finishing touch. Thank you, Neeti, for organizing such a nice show today. We had interaction with, so this was one of the best interaction where all PIBO was in sync, because there is always a challenge where producer or importer think that recycler are the one which are demanding from them unnecessarily. But it's part of circularity. Until unless recycling commercial viability is not there, it is not going to happen. Thank you, sir, Chairman sir from Andhra Pradesh. You invited MRAI for a show we will have certainly a good conference and will come out with the state level. Thank you, madam, for coming here from Kerala. And at the end, I'll say, sir, when you talk about taxation, we'll come to you also, because already we had asked to ministry for certain concessions, but as of now, reverse charge mechanism is the thing which we are approaching. So it already been given by ministry in GST Council 54th meeting in metal scrap, but the same can be extended to batteries, tire, plastic, and other waste. That will bring informal sector into formal sector, because there are invoicing challenge. One gentleman during the tire was talking why tire being imported when we have enough tire. There are two issues in that. One, we need it for a value addition, because we either import such goods which are, we have to pay high value. Second, the invoicing issue is there. So what we are talking on RCM, if it is there, that can be resolved. So at the end, thank you everyone, and we will carry forward all these deliberation in year to come, and see you everyone in 2026 when we have 13th conference. Thank you.
And at the last, thank you, Naveen ji. At the last, I would like to call upon Mr. Amit Verma ji, Director Niti Aayog, for his closing remarks and vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It has been a long day for me. It was just a day, but for MRAI and other participants, it's a long, long 3 days. So I can imagine that all the end of life thing when we read, we don't read it only for tires or vehicles, but we are almost feeling as if it's like end of life for us because we've been involved in this workshop for so long. I won't make it any longer for you. This has been a great workshop for Niti as a co-host here with MRAI, and thank you so much for consenting to co-host it with us. It was a great opportunity that the industry, all the recyclers, and much of the OEMs also related to this were already here, and we took this opportunity, and you facilitated that. That's really great for us. One thing important thing which I realized here is that so when we work at the Government of India level, we keep on saying this, that the states are not doing enough. But these are the conferences when we get an opportunity to interact with the states, and we feel there's a lot of appetite within the states itself to do very good things, and the policy interventions which they are themselves thinking based on the experiences they have. They're absolutely amazing and very important for the policy. So conferences like this give us an opportunity to assess on where we are falling short, and also to extend our hands of collaboration to both industry and the state governments as well. The points which have been made by the Honorable Chairman from both Andhra Pradesh and Kerala have been really nice. I mean, thank you so much for coming here and sharing your thoughts. Another thing which I wanted to just touch upon is about the global stock market bloodbath which happened in last 2 days because of the DeepSeek. I always feel that when is that moment is going to come for India? See, technology is important for every part of it, and it tells us that many of the things which we think are expensive, very difficult to achieve, can actually be achieved at a much lower cost. We don't always need to look out for a Western world for giving us the technologies, and I think that's therein lies an opportunity for both industry and academia to innovate and come out with things which cater to the needs of a country. So that's a challenge, grand challenge for us, to look into how do we create our innovation systems which are best in the world. A couple of IITs are already there in this conference. I visited their stall, and I'm sure more academic institutions would come in. And I was discussing with Sir earlier also that we are going to host a startup challenge for AI and sustainability in times to come, which can be a melting pot of both the new budding entrepreneurs within the country and how we can take it forward. So, you should await that declaration from Niti Aayog in times to come. The summary of recommendations which will come out of this are very important for us. A lot of churning has happened, not only as a part of the panel discussions, but also in one-to-one interactions we have while having tea and coffee and lunch. Those also add a lot of value. Many innovative ideas do pour into our own line of thinking. Thank you so much for everyone who interacted with me. But for everyone else who could not, it's my humble request to reach out to us or MRAI with their own suggestions, set of recommendations which you think are important for the industry. We are very happy to hear and we are with very open mind, any of the suggestions you might have. So in the end, as a co-host, as a representative of Niti, I extend my heartfelt thanks to everybody on the dais. I really appreciate you sparing the whole day for this workshop. Really thank you so much for that. Also to the state governments who kindly agreed to send their representatives to participate in this workshop. That's very important because that, as I said in the welcome remarks also, cooperative federalism is a very important part of Niti, and that has really helped us all in formulating policies which are important. Last of all the MRAI team and the team behind the curtain who has worked very, very hard in last 15 days. My team, Prinsila, Sonia, Arya, Mr. Gaurav, I know you've been burning the midnight oil for last 15 days to make this happen. A heartfelt thanks to you and all the leaders of MRAI who have been able to guide you to conduct this workshop in this way. Thank you once and all, and I hope to see you in the next workshop again.
Yeah, so with this, we come to the end of the program.
So I would request all the invitees of Niti Aayog to come on stage, please, as well as MRAI team. Please, everyone come on stage. Let's have a group photograph. Yes, sir.